Hey everybody, it's time for another Redneck review. Today I'm doing this on my phone just for the simple reason that YouTube right now, the recorder on that in my computer, just are not making it to allow me to get on there for you. So we're going to do this the old-fashioned way, and if you see bits and pieces of my dirty house, I'm really sorry about that. Alright, for the third and final time tonight, we are going to go over Sonic the Hedgehog, issue number 255. Alright, this particular story is done by the writers. Well, let me give you some backstory real quick. The Sonic the Hedgehog, this series is done off of the old Sat-Am TV show. It basically picks up where that left off. And I used to love this show. Like, before Power Rangers came along, I was a Sonic guy. Still am as far as the video games, but I like this story better. It has Dr. Eggman coming into this planet and turning all the creatures on it into a robot through a machine he calls the roboticizer, just like on the video game. This one has been going on for 255 issues, so you know it's the longest running video game comic in history, so it's got to be pretty good. Alright, well, anyway, let's jump in right here. This picks up after the recent crossover event in Archie, where Sonic met Mega Man. The Blue Bomber met the Blue Boar, who, you know, was just one of my absolute favorite people. Okay, well, anyway, we have Sonic going here in the Metropolis Zone. He's trying to find several people. Sorry, he's trying to find several people that he has been looking for. His freedom fighters. They're the ones that are helping him fight Dr. Eggman, who is the main bad guy in this as well. We see him right here on here, where Sonic and Tails are after trying to break into this place. Eggman has an entire army, and that is occupying this city. Basically, we have Sonic and Tails trying to break in here to find the freedom fighters, because in the last in the crossover event, when Sonic was going after Eggman, when he was using the Chaos Emeralds to fight him and Dr. Wily, he messed up his own timeline. The events that happened previously in the story have been erased. There's no way to get around it. They are just not there anymore. So he has to go and try and rebuild this world from absolute scratch. We have him fighting Eggman's think tank. They're not exactly great fighters right here, as you can see, but they're doing their best, and they're using their smarts instead of their brains. They're throwing this advanced technology at him, and he has to go in there and find Bunny Rabbit, one of the muscle of the freedom fighters. And Sonic manages to get to the command center and take on one of the egg guys. And what should be in this picture but a little rabbit? Bunny Rabbit. Look, has the ears just like that. I wonder if that's her. Well, one thing leads to another, and this goofball of a egg boss right here goes up and locks the door with the hero inside. The person he's trying to stop. So he locks himself in there with the good guy inside. Not a smart move. He says, you know, there's two of us and only one of you. When has that ever worked out for the villain? So it may be cliche, but not bad to me. Anyway, we see him get clocked in the face by this rogue little rabbit. And I gotta tell you, I'm kind of happy with it. She's over here, she kicks off her thing, and Bunny is here. She comes in, takes Sonic and them by storm. They're all really happy to see her and getting things together. She tells them that, you know, she's here for a specific purpose. She's here to steal this one generator, which will stop Eggman from charging up his new fortress and going through there. Eggman has an entire army here, but he's still building his doomsday weapons. So this is like the Death Star for an Archie comic. And like I said, Sonic is trying to find Bunny so he can reintroduce her to herself in this timeline that he remembers. It's really confusing, especially if you don't know the particulars about it. But we're going to go back and do some Sonic catch-up stuff and highlights. But anyway, just for the course of this story, Sonic goes and tries to tell her what all this stuff, and he realizes that if he does it now, it's going to interfere with the mission, and they might lose her objectivity altogether. So Sonic has to stop what he's doing before he brings her back. It's kind of sad because I'm hoping to get the Freedom Fighters back out of this. Well, anyway, back to the grand villain, grand hoo-ha of this story right here, Dr. Eggman, and they find that when he left for this when he left the crossover event, he had very little resources left. But now the entire planet, like a good slice of the planet, is his, and he has resources again. And he's trying to figure out his place among these subordinates that he's never met. And they're sort of on his case. They're like, why would we do this, sir? He goes, because I told you to. And we find him trying to get himself safe before he himself surrenders to his memories of the timeline. He goes, so close to home. Glorious, deadly home, he says. You seem awful familiar with that egg boss, sir. Especially for someone from a different timeline. It's a timeline to which we are adjusting. Whether we want to or not, I suspect that before long, this new reality, my new history, will take permanent hold over me. So, what nobody understands is this timeline is permanent. It's taking them over. If Sonic doesn't find a way to restore his memories, this is what he's going to remember. It's not going to be the way it was, guys. I hope they're not rewriting everything just so they can tell the story. But I'm fine with that. If we've seen anything with the Marvel and DC stuff, you can do that. Alright, well, anyway, we see Sonic and Bunny fighting head to toe trying to get that generator online. They run into an old friend, one of the Badniks, one of the major bosses from a couple old issues of Sonic, and they are right at the vault where they're met with resistance from an entire egg battalion, and Sonic and Bunny are just like, well, you take the ones on the left, I'll take the ones on the right. I love the attitude of Sonic and them in this. Well, they manage to keep everyone busy while Tails goes on and takes control of one of the control areas and manages to blast and take control of the generator. So Sonic and them quickly get the upper hand and take control, and they're off. They've stolen the generator in these few pages. So now they have the unfortunate task of reintroducing Bunny to herself. They've already retaken a couple people, but they have to do all the Freedom Fighters, and it happens very quickly. And this is killing my comic right here, but she starts flashing back to her life, and she's returned to the arms of her one true love, Anton de Colette de Rabat, the coolest dude on there. So they have about 80% of the Freedom Fighters back together, and Sonic realizes that they're coming along. They just need to work at a little bit harder. And, you know, then we find out that she only has power to do one or two more. It might come down to one or the other. Amy Rose Hedgehog or Sally Acorn. Tough decision, I know. But, you know, obviously you go for Sally. Well, now we find ourselves back on the egg carrier, the Death Egg, where Dr. Eggman has managed to get back to the seat of his throne, and he's trying to take control of all of his empire. When what happens is they get the idea of an intruder alarm. They found someone they shouldn't have found on the ship. Sally Acorn. Sally Acorn, the princess of the Acorn family, and the rightful heir to the throne. We have Eggman here who tells them, you know, yes, boss, it seems an escape pod launched a few hours before we arrived. They found that she was on the ship, and she's done something to the ship. And they're just like, she knit a she's not a robot anymore. In the previous timeline, she's been roboticized by Dr. Eggman. So we find that Eggman is saying, track that pod, send Metal Sonic. Sonic doesn't get to see her alive again, so his arch villain is going to keep Sally away from him yet again. I love Sonic the Hedgehog number 255, but I've been reading it for a while. So the story, since you have to go back and you have to read, you have to do your research on this thing, is only going to get a 3.5. The art, it's still kind of kiddish. I'm going to give it a 4 for Sonic the Hedgehog number 255. It's about pretty much the same artwork all the time. I mean, as far as how well it was written and what you can look at in this page, it's like watching the old cartoon show in better graphics and on paper. Alright guys, well that's your Redneck review. It's going to be a 3.5 for the story and a 4 on the actual art. So that's it. If you'd like to leave a message on the YouTube thing, and please forgive me for like I said for using my phone camera. The YouTube thing's just not working today, but I want to get these videos up there. I'm trying to make about 100 before the end of the month. This is your Redneck review from Robert. Talk to you later. Bye bye, and God bless.